Well, hello everybody. We are back. It is WREXtra time after the match. Wrexham have just drawn 1-1 with Derby, and it absolutely feels like 2 points lost today. We were playing amazing until we weren't. So, this is the Local Pundit. I am Paddy Power, and this is WREXtra time. If there's anybody here who does not know how it works, the plan is for you guys to call in, jump on the show, and lead the chat. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to talk about? Is it time for Parky out? Does the man not know how to use a sub bench? We'll talk about it if you want to talk about it. And how about AO? Is it time for him to be dropped? Shouldn't Burton be back in goal? Do we need to talk about AO this week? Yes, we do, in my opinion. We need to discuss AO. So here is the link. Let me put the link out, guys, and everybody can come jump in. I would love to have lots and lots of people jumping on the show this week. I'm sure you have plenty you would like to talk about. And while we're waiting for people to jump into the background, let's just go through the other matches that were on early today, because we were not the only one. Coventry City, again with the high scoring, is after beating Birmingham City 3-0. Birmingham did take a red card. So we have Thomas Asante at 16 minutes. Then we have a red card for Robinson at 42 minutes. Osei Samuel scored an own goal at 49 minutes. And then Thorpe scored for Coventry City at 78 minutes. A 3-0 defeat for Birmingham. Coventry City are looking good and very, very solid. Could they be looking at trying to fight for an automatic spot? Well, if they keep going, yes, it's a distinct possibility, but it's too early to say. The other match was Swansea City versus Millwall. Swansea took the early lead with Vipotnik at 12 minutes, and then Millwall at 45 plus 1 just before the halftime made it 1-1, and nothing in the second half. So that is the other matches for the early games. I've just lost them, so I'm not going to tell you what the late games are. No problem. Okay, so right, hello everybody and welcome on board. Who is here today? We have Brian Burton. That was bad. I would actually say it was a very good performance up until 70 minutes. But other than that, after that, there's a lot to talk about. Steve Barton, we have to be better at home. While we were dominating the match today, we didn't get amazing chances, and we certainly didn't finish the chances we got. With the performance we had, I would have expected us to manage to score, and we didn't. We kept that door open, and the one chance that Derby had, they took it. So that was a problem. Andrew C., what's your takeaway, buddy? I think my takeaway from this game is how many times our players got hurt and went down. It feels like we are always flirting with disaster. Well, buddy, use the link, jump on board, because I would not mind discussing that a bit further. Why do you think this is? Is anybody to blame? Is it our football style? And is there anything we can do about it? That would be a good talking point. Okay, Nick Donlan. It can only be okay if we bounce back and pull 4 points from Leicester and Brum. Otherwise. Well, we have 2 tough matches coming up next. And yes, for anyone who isn't aware, our next match is Leicester City away. And that is followed up by Birmingham City at home. We have not won at home outside the cup yet. So that is not a good record to have. And our next opponents at home are Birmingham, who lost today. Not looking forward to either of these next 2 matches, really. Before anybody says that I'm not being positive enough, we can win either of those matches, both of those matches, or none of those matches. Shh, cat. Shh. So we'll have to wait and see. We need good showings though to win those matches. Okay, Wayne Evans. We only beat Millwall and Norwich because they played shit. Draws to Wednesday and Derby at home. We're in trouble currently. Okay, Wayne is on the pessimistic track today. Fair enough, no problem. Okay, who else? I see you there, Habs. I'll bring you in very, very shortly. Leicester City also had a hard time scoring today. Good to hear. Andrew C, lots of comments from you today. Come on board, buddy. We need to talk. I still believe in, let me put up because no point reading it without you seeing it. I still believe in Parky, but I was not happy with him today. My assumption is you are not happy with the fact that he does not know how to make substitutions. Because I'm not happy with him for that. I'm not quite Parky out on it, but no, I'm not happy with that today. Okay, Nick Donlan. We need to discuss AO because he did very well today, but he also didn't have to deal with a one-on-one. Yes, and for anybody who didn't catch it, that was a little bit of Irish sarcasm there. We do need to talk about AO. In fairness, he didn't have a lot to do today. They weren't getting in on top of him. He did not have a one-on-one to deal with, but when he was needed, he was there. And his positives were on full display today. 2 amazing shots, full stretch, one hand, kept out of the goal today. We can discuss that further. So welcome to everybody else. That's pretty much the end of the comments there. I'm going to skip through a few because Habs is waiting. Now, guys, this is a phone-in show. I want quite a few people in today. So please don't let me down. Come on, jump in the background and I'll get you in for a quick chat as soon as you do. So, Habs, welcome. How are you doing today?
Yeah, how you doing?
A bit better.
I'm not too mad about the match today. So I'm actually, we could have won. That's
Yes.
one thing we could have won.
We should have won.
Yes, we should have won. But overall, we were fine all across the match. I mean, the thing is that we were playing against Derby. We knew they were going to play. They were going to play some very dirty, low block haram ball. They were. So that was to be expected, and they got on us on a counter. They got us on the they got one on us on the counter. So that was to be expected. That was their tactics the entire match. The only time they ever came forward was really the beginning of the match. The rest of the time we were just pressing them the entire time. So, and that's basically what we did to Norwich last week, and we basically had more of the ball this time, and we were close to scoring multiple times. We've had bigger chances. We were more purposeful with the ball. We just couldn't break them down in a way that would be effective. We did manage to with Lewis O'Brien, but it's to be expected when you're having to deal with teams that are very strong with the low block, and that is what was going to happen.
Yeah, we don't like, let's say, weaker teams or defensive teams because we're a defensive counter-attacking team. We don't like having the ball in the same way other teams do. We played well with it for the first time, I think, when we had solid possession. Our passing was fluid. Triangles, people, I saw triangles all over the pitch today until 70 minutes. It was excellent. We didn't hold on to the ball for no sake, and we got into attacking positions, but we did not finish them. It is something we're going to have to get used to. We need to dominate teams that are going to give us the ball like this, but we need to score on the end of it. So yes, first 70 minutes, all the signs were there, loving the football, loving the play, but we only got the one goal, which left the door open, and we got caught on a silly counter. So as annoyed as I am today, yes, all the signs are there for the future. But
I mean, even after they scored, we were still pressing them the entire time. We were still trying to look for the goal. I mean, their entire, but as soon as they got their first goal, They went into a deep low block. They did instantly. You could tell they did not want to. They did not want to get the next goal whatsoever. And if they did, it was always on a. It was always on a complete counter, which they couldn't do. So they they were trying their best to try and soak up as much pressure as they can because we were putting a lot of pressure on them every time. We were in their box most of the time. So
yeah,
that's what we were doing. I mean, the only thing I could really be annoyed by today would be Parky not subbing players earlier. That's the only thing, and that is a consistent problem that we seriously need to get sorted out. But that's just Parky. He needs to get them subs rolling out earlier, as opposed to waiting all the way until the. When did we get our first sub? After the 75th minute, around the 80th minute?
yeah. It went that late, and the first sub was only James on his own,
which I thought was a terrible idea. We should have gotten Broadhead on much earlier. We should have gotten. We should have switched out more way earlier, around the 60, 65 minutes. We should have switched out for Smith.
Yeah, we were winning. We were winning at 60 minutes. We were ahead. So it's a weird one. Like, why are you not changing legs? Freshen up the team so that we keep our defense solid. We did not need to score at that point, in theory. So changing for the fresh legs, I think, makes perfect sense. If we were fighting for the win, I could more understand leaving on a team that looked dangerous. But when we're ahead, you're not willing to put on fresh legs like Thomason? I don't get that at all. I don't.
As soon as we got the first goal in, they were just panicking anyway. So I could tell straight away they were panicking. They were trying to get they were trying to get us on the counter immediately as quickly as possible. So, and we just had a lapse in defence. That's all that happened.
Yeah, we did, exactly. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. Getting caught on the counter, at least I'm happier it's not open play. Anybody can get caught on a counter and mistakes happen. But that's why you need 2 goals. So I'm just looking at it here. Matty James came on at 75 minutes. And then it was Broadhead and Barnett came on together at 80 minutes. And then the last one was Sam Smith.
They should have came on around the 70th minute at least, bare minimum, to give them time.
Yeah. I think our players are good enough with a goal ahead to be coming on at 70 minutes to swap out tired legs. And we've already discussed it. We have 3 matches back to back coming up. So what can we do? Now, Habs, I'm going to bring in Joy here because she tried to come in last week and then disappeared on me, I think. So I'll bring her in straight away and we can all stay here.
Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Joy.
Hello. How are you?
You tried to come in last week, didn't you?
I did, but my dog just had surgery, so he needed help. So I needed to go away for a bit.
No problem. I was worried I insulted you or something because
No, but it is. I woke up at 3 a.m. for this game, and it's almost 7 now, so I'm a little.
Yeah, well, you're awake now. The day started. No point coming back to bed. You might as well come on here and chat with us.
I don't understand why he doesn't sub, especially the players. How many times did Moore get knocked down?
Yes.
Clearly have issues.
Yeah.
And then keep playing him like a racehorse he's going to beat to the ground. Yeah. And then be surprised if he gets injured. And then Kabore also had the same thing, had at least 2 times where he was grabbing something.
Yeah.
And maybe just a little niggle where if he took him out, he already played, 70 minutes, and then he'd be fine for the next games. But now he's hobbling around the pitch.
Yeah.
And who knows what's going on with him now. And
the same is true for Windass as well.
Yes.
Windass went down numerous times.
And he's coming back from a big injury, and we know he's injury prone.
Yeah, so that's 70 minutes and 3 fairly obvious substitutions and protection of our best players. So you have Kabore could have been replaced with Barney. Windass could have been replaced with Broadhead, and then Moore could have been replaced with Smith. They all could have come on at 70 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're not chasing a game either. They're already ahead. They don't need to go crazy. They just need to link up with the rest of the team and defend and take chances when available.
And in the first few weeks, I understood when he didn't make subs because we didn't have a strong bench.
Yes.
But we have a good bench. It may not be exceptional, but it's a good, solid bench, especially if we're trying to just hold out and we're not going for a win, or we're not trying to get another point if we're already ahead. So that's my most frustrating. It's not his tactics or which formation he plays for Parky. It's that he just does not sub. And no one asks him that.
I know.
Our interviews at the end, we can guess exactly what questions he's going to ask, and it's sure as hell not going to be, why aren't you subbing anybody? Or why are we getting so many injured players? Because we have almost every game somebody gets injured.
Yeah. Well, today they played rough. They wanted to disrupt us. The ref kind of turned a blind eye to a lot of it. Now, I'm not going to say they were dirty today. I accept this type of play. It wasn't over the line for me, personally. Not many of the tackles, I would say, were purposeful to injure
and we
someone.
got lucky with that O'Brien one. That could have been real bad.
If it was later in the match, definitely it was on the line of getting a straight red. This early in the match, I can understand why it wasn't a straight red. But you wouldn't be able to argue it too much if it was. So
especially on that replay. In real time,
in
real time, I was like, okay, yeah, yellow. But in the replay, I was like, ooh, that could have been a red.
Yeah.
Easily.
Okay, so let's hit a positive. We've already kind of mentioned it. AO.
I think he proved why he's still there. It's his reflexes. Nobody that we have, even if Ward was there, could have blocked those two back-to-back.
Back-to-back, yeah.
Especially that little bitch slap one at the first one.
Yeah, I think
that's why he's there.
Yeah, Ward might have got one. I don't see him getting those two kind of back to back. He wouldn't have been up off the ground fast enough.
Yeah.
But that played to the strength of AO today. He didn't have a lot to do, but when he was needed, at a stretch, that's why he's good.
And the one he missed, you can't blame him.
No, that wasn't his fault. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was on the top corner.
Sorry?
It was the top corner goal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't obviously quite a one-on-one. There were defenders got to him, but didn't hold him off. And top corner, not much you can do there. There was a breakaway.
He also seemed to be willing to go out of his box and was a little bit more aggressive. And it didn't seem like there was communication between him and his defenders, because when he was going out of our box, our defenders, I think I saw Sheaf and maybe Brunt once, was still going and took the ball away from him almost.
Yeah, my issue with that is the defenders don't seem to know when he is coming and when he's not coming.
Yeah.
And it should almost be automatic. Depending on the location of where that ball looks like it's going, you should know, is your keeper coming for this or is he not? Almost the same decision making every time.
Do you think that's communication or just someone
indecisiveness,
not knowing?
Yeah, they don't know because he's indecisive. He is not coming out for the same type of ball 95% of the time. Which means they can't guess what he's about to do. And in theory, they shouldn't need to guess. That's my point.
Yeah.
Is they be able to judge by where the ball is coming in, he's going to come for this. I know he's coming for this. And this is a little bit too far out. I know he's not going to get this. Which means if you know he's not going to get to it, you absolutely know you have to put yourself on the line to stop it.
Yeah.
And anything in between causes problems, because if you think you have to get it and he comes for it, you're going to be standing in his way, because you're trying to get to the ball, he's trying to get to the ball, and you can stop him getting to it. He's jumping up over the head of you, stopping you getting to it, and then all sorts of messes can happen.
We did see some close calls for that, where that almost happened at least once or twice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the thing we have to take into consideration, he has, in this match, I think we're starting to see old Arthur back in now, where he's just getting used to everything again. And plus, there's going to be some miscommunication, and you're not going to have that kind of like telepathic link with your defense as of right now, since we got a new defense. But also,
I definitely don't think he goes out. I'm not a supporter of that at all. But it is a little worrying that we've seen what his problems are, and they just don't seem to be getting better, though.
Yeah, I'd agree with that in general. They're the same type of problems that he's always had. But I do feel that they have generally been much better by the end of each season than they were at the start. So I would just hope that it's the same sort of thing, that it's an adjustment to a new league, new types of players, and by the end of the season, he'll be better. Now, this is a comment from Blank Canvas. I'd experiment with Burton, as it's clear that AO is on borrowed time, where a replacement will happen in January or next summer. However, he didn't have any major blunders today. Before I comment on this, what do you think on that? Agree, disagree?
Disagree.
Okay. What part
I think AO has a higher ceiling. He's a better stop shopper. That's my 3 a.m. coming out. And the things he needs to improve on, I think, is easier to improve on than trying to become a better stop shopper. I think you're just gonna have to do that for me today.
Yeah,
it's mainly just some stuff about distribution, about that. Also, his indecisiveness, and also having to make sure he's in good communication with his defense. I mean, that will improve over the course of the season. That will. I mean, it just happens over time. You just get better and better as soon as you're playing more and more and more. The one thing I did notice he did improve on today is that he wasn't constantly launching the ball. Yes, today he was actually building up from the back. He was actually doing proper passes as well, making sure his defense and then build the game up as well, which actually helped quite a lot in the game, as opposed to just launching it from one side to the other. We know we can get it from one side to the other end of the pitch, but you also, one other thing is that he knew how to slow the game down today a bit more, slowing the game down. Let us build up from the back as well when we need to do so. Because it's that way, because you can't always guarantee that when the goalkeeper does their goal kick, it's going to end up in the opposition's hand. That's what's going to end up happening. But so
having to just giving it away constantly.
Yeah. Okay. My big issue with this comment is I'd experiment with Burton. I don't think you can experiment with keepers. Yeah. I don't think it's possible with it only being a solitary position. You can experiment with the players out on the pitch, different formations, different players, and see how they work together in combination. But yes, your keeper has to work with the defense they have, but it's not something you can experiment with too easily. For me, you leave AO in until you pull him completely and sit him for multiple matches, because if you swap him with Burton needs multiple matches and needs to be able to make some points losing mistakes. You have to accept that from time to time a keeper is going to do that. So if you're going to bring Burton in, you better be willing to give him a few matches. Is my call on that. The other thing is being on borrowed time and a replacement in January or next summer. That's very possible. And I think that really depends on what happens with Ward. Is Ward going to be back and available by January? In which case, absolutely, it'll get pushed to the summer. Or what is his situation? Because if he's not available for a significant period of time after the transfer window, then a decision maybe has to be made on pulling the trigger, getting what I would hope would be a number one keeper, and then deal with who's the number two in the summer. And if that means Ward has to sit out 6 months, but then maybe come back as number two, maybe Arthur doesn't want to stay under that scenario, or maybe there's issues with Ward and we do keep Arthur as number two. That can all be decided with the fullness of time. But I kind of, a replacement may be needed in the near future.
And
for
we
Ward
haven't heard
/AO.
anything about Ward since he was getting a surgery done.
Yeah, they're generally pretty quiet on injuries like that. So I wouldn't expect anything for a while. But as we get close to Christmas, people will be looking for information on Ward to say that he's ready to come back by the window. Because if he's not ready to come back, then decisions have to be made. Is there a possibility of bringing someone in? Now, maybe it will depend on who becomes available. This could be one of those scenarios that if the perfect keeper becomes available and we can get him, they may pull the trigger.
And doesn't Arthur go away for like a month?
If he's selected, he should be selected to be the number two for his country. But there's not an absolute guarantee on it. But it's more likely the better he plays for us. So,
So then we might see Burton.
we might see Burton, and you know what? It could be an interesting question for AO if he gets asked to go and play international for his team. Could he potentially make the decision that he's not going to risk his Wrexham career by going?
Because if Burton kills it, then Parky's not going to take him out when Arthur comes back.
No, and you potentially have Ward coming in as well. You know, if Ward is coming back and Burton is doing amazing, it could have AO sitting for the remainder of the season.
That would be interesting.
It's going to be a big mix. Very interesting. Now, if Burton sits the bench for the remainder of this season, we could have a scenario that he wants to leave in January, because the rumor through the summer, it's not a rumor. Parky mentioned it, that Burton wanted to leave and he was convinced to stay.
How long did he sign?
We were not sure, but if he wants a move, you can look for a move and sell him somewhere. You know, I don't think that'll be a problem. He's a little bit older. He'd have to go down to League One most likely to get a number one position, potentially. So we'll see. If he wants to go in January, I guess that might force the issue that we need again to figure out a third keeper and figure out the playing order, who is 1, 2, 3, depending on who we can get.
Because hasn't AO also been injured every season so far and been out for a significant time?
Yeah, he had the jaw first.
And then the wrist.
And then the wrist, yeah.
If I was him, I'd be hedging my bets that he'd get his chance, especially if Ward's still out.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. And Wayne Evans here saying Sam Tickle, 21-year-old from Wigan. Looks like a very handy keeper. That could be an interesting one. This is a long conversation and people seem interested in it. Ward has made mistakes also. Yes, he has. He's not a perfect player either. And Ward is 3 to 6 months out. Then he has to be ready to play competitively. He will likely be out all year. Is a possibility. And this is why I kind of bring up, is he ready for January or not? He might not be. It's possible that he's not. And it's very possible that, there's a chance that the club already know it, but they're hiding the fact, you know. They might already know that the prognosis here is that after the injury, he will be healed in January, but then he has to get fitness and everything else, that he may not be available until into March. At that stage, you're already halfway through the second half. So they may know they have to live without him. So it's an interesting one. Okay. Have we done enough on keepers? I think we have.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Let's have a little quick look at defense, if you don't mind. I was talking to Ken. We were watching it together in the background, and we both noticed not Barney. What am I saying? Clewitt on the right hand side. Two things. One, he seems more comfortable on the ball himself. He is happier playing the ball out from the back. And two, he seemed to know exactly where his positioning should be when working with Kabore on that right hand side. They were doing lovely little triangles. They were both running into empty space, and they were playing nice little tippy tappy passes around the opponents. So they are starting to get a nice relationship together.
Yeah, I noticed that one too, that he and Kabore seem to really work well together. And
it's good to see.
Yeah. And if they're like that now, imagine how they are in a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with the passing on the left, we were running circles around them most of the time. They couldn't deal with our passing, and they couldn't deal with the way we was playing. So they were much more physical as a team. Well, that's going to be that's going to be the case if you're going to be a defensive team anyway. When you're playing in a low block, you're going to have to deal with that kind of like very physical, very foul heavy opposition. They will do that. It's almost certain that when you deal with teams that play in that kind of low block, they're going to just be that physical with you.
Yeah, that's fair. Then on the other side, Brunt. What did we think of Brunt today? To me, he didn't seem to be involved a hell of a lot. We weren't going up that left side as much.
He was heavily involved.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like he was involved, but for me, it's just the commentators weren't calling him out too much. He was just doing a decent job.
He was always active, going through the middle, passing the ball to Longman. He was constantly active everywhere when he needed to be, and he was there perfectly for the defense. Every time he was just covering everything that needed to be said. It's just that everyone sleeps on him.
Yeah,
they always sleep on it. I said this at the very beginning. Watch out for Lewis Brunt. He is that guy that you got to look out for. Everyone doesn't notice it, but I have said this multiple times. Look for Lewis Brunt. He is an incredible playmaker as well.
See, this is really interesting. And I said to Ken before the match, keep an eye on Brunt and how well he does today, because and he liked him. So that's fine. But I seem to have quite a big blind spot for not noticing what he's doing. And I'm not the only one, obviously, because a lot of other
just
people
watch his
are
hair.
very similar.
You'll see his hair. Then that's how you notice. He's got sheep hair.
But the other thing I was going to say is, because of course I noticed the negatives. Again, he was not watching the attackers around him just before that goal. I mentioned it to Ken like 3 or 4 seconds before the goal ended up going in. I'm like, Brunt is out of position. He is not watching the attacker behind him. And then they had that breakaway across, and it went in. I'm not saying it was his fault. A lot of people were out of position. Clewitt was out of position. It was on a breakaway, but yeah. What did you think of him? Do you think he should remain in the starting 11?
I don't think Doyle has. I think Doyle is about the same level as Brunt. I don't think one's so much better than the other. Maybe Brunt's a little bit better, in my opinion. But this idea that Doyle is some football savant hasn't really shown up for me. And I feel like his strongest game for us was the first game he played. And then he's kind of gone downhill a little bit. Even in the Reading game, I was like, he's fine. But nothing special. When compared to Brunt, he seemed to be fighting for his place.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because he's new, and well, not Brunt, Doyle. Doyle is new, and he needs time as well. We should allow him time to break into the team, and it's not always as easy as plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wouldn't have been
lots of
upset if
reasons.
he was there instead of Brunt.
Mhm.
He's not a player. He's no Macca, or I would have been up in arms if he was in that starting lineup. But I think I don't really know how I feel, because I feel Brunt has earned his spot to at least try and fight for it. But Doyle has also come in, and he's probably thinking he's got a spot to play for and needs a chance to play.
Yeah,
I think there's a thing I've just noticed whilst the match was going on. Brunt is very good, but I think he's better when he's going up against a more attacking side, because they have much more open play, whilst Doyle would be far better to deal with teams that are much more defensive and go into that low block, where they're much more heavily defensive.
Yeah, interesting call there. Serial for I'll put up a comment here. Doyle's level the past couple of years is levels above Brunt. He's played only a couple of games with us, but if you look at his past, he is levels above. Now, generally, I like that idea, and I agree with that idea simply because it's an obvious thing to say, is that when you bring a player in, generally speaking, the idea is that they are better than the players you have. So it's expected that he is better. If he's not currently better and needs a bit more time, so be it. But yes, he should be. Otherwise, we've kind of made a big mistake. Or the team is also completely sleeping on Brunt. But ultimately, we would like two players at least of a similar level to be the A and B that I mentioned previously.
I would have brought Brunt on a lot later. I would have put Doyle in today, and dealt with that kind of low block play, because the way Doyle plays, his passes are very different towards the style of play is very different towards each other. Brunt is a much more attack heavy centre back, really, as opposed to Doyle, which is a much more pass heavy. I mean, he's had that Man City style drilled into him, so
yes. Yeah.
So who would you have for the next game?
We're against Leicester, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brunt.
Leicester away.
I'd go with Brunt.
Yeah, under the way you put that forward, yes, I'd agree, Brunt, in that scenario. Yeah.
And for Birmingham?
Brunt.
A lot of teams are going to attack us, yeah. But these are the better teams, so it would generally make sense that the better teams would be more attacking against us and taking it to us. And the weaker teams would probably be generally more defensive. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Comment here, given the high fee and young age of Doyle, 9 times out of 10 he'll be picked over Brunt, but it's reasonable to expect some rotation, and it's a long season. Yeah, I do agree with this. I don't care about the high fee in general. There's nothing the player can particularly do about that. The fact that he's young and can take a little bit of time is more the issue for me here. There isn't a massive rush. If for some reason he's not ready, be it we have a different play style, it's something he's not used to, or he isn't fully fit and needs to get fully fit, or whatever the issues are, we have time with him. And I would try not to focus too much on what someone cost us and are we getting value for money, because then you have the likes of Windass we managed to get on a free. So a completely different scenario where he's value for money because we got him for nothing, or bar whatever he got out of us for his wage because he was free. But I don't think that's the best way to compare people, is, oh, he cost this and he cost that. That's a club issue to deal with a general wage spend that they have to be willing to pay or not pay.
I'll make a change on one thing. I would actually put Doyle against Birmingham.
Okay.
His passing would actually be very useful in that kind of match because they're very aggressive in terms of their press. They are.
Okay.
And why don't we think Doyle is fully fit?
A lot of people are saying he's a little heavy. He's not match fit. He's not ready. He's carrying a bit too much weight. Seems to be the reason. Now that's an interesting question. We won't dive onto that topic today, but yeah, it's an interesting point, and excess weight slows you down. Is it needed? We've said this before about other people that but it was in a different way. Maxi was putting on weight, and people and kind of muscle and stuff like that, and we were saying, well, he needs a balance. He needs to be a bit stronger, a bit more physical, and he needs the extra muscle for that reason. And we hope it doesn't slow him down too much or at all. So yeah, it's a question, but I'm not going to speculate too much why he's not ready, but it kind of looks like he's not totally ready to take the position and make it his, and partly because he's new as well. So no one quite knows on that. Brian Burton says Doyle played great at Millwall. Yeah. Time. Brunt runs the ball forward. Doyle passes it. Passing is faster. Yeah. Interesting take there. Okay, Mad Al, that's not very nice. Please try and keep it civil. Be polite. Okay, here's an interesting one. Lewis Brunt is also a 24-year-old player with growth potential. Yes, but again, the difference is kind of where is he on his curve? He's coming up from League One and stuff. But yes, he still has time and space. And again, this is another thing I did mention to Ken, is that it is possible for Brunt and Max, with their age profiles and timing and everything like that, they could become our number one players in the long term over the next couple of years. It's not the end of the world if someone else comes in and they take a season where they do need to go onto the bench for a while, work on everything in the training ground, improve again, and potentially steal it back. So that is possible, and something that I considered. Now, Max has been luckier to kind of keep his spot, whereas Brunt is currently kind of losing it and trying to fight back for it. But there's no reason the two of them can't become our number ones. But what they need to do is they need to, instead of proving that they're championship level quality, they need to upskill and they need to become top end championship quality. And that'll take time as well. And they potentially have it. But everybody's been upgraded, so everybody needs to be careful.
Well, Max always improves every season. If you look at him for how he is the first 2 months compared to the last 2 months of a season, he always seems to step it up a level. I remember last year in the beginning, we were talking about how he kept getting passed by, and he seemed to shore that up, and he was great for especially the last half of the season. So I always feel like if he just gets to play, which it seems like he is, then he'll do the same thing this year.
I agree with that. The caveat to be careful about is everybody does have their ceiling. And at some point he may not be able to make those improvements. But for now, there's no signs that he can't. And there's no reason to think that he can't do that. So yes, he's done it the other seasons, and he could very well do it again. But I would think everybody's going to have to be careful in January, because the team is massively upgrading to high-end championship squad as quick as we can do it. And that's not going to leave a lot of time, unfortunately.
And I think he did get lucky that Cody seems to have dropped the ball at least a little bit.
A little bit, yes.
Because I think Heim was going to be coming in for Max, and Parky pulled this hole's bigger than that one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Steve Barton has thrown in a super chat, so we're going to bring that up straight away. If only we had spent 30 million plus to bring in a team that has depth for substitutions. Oh, wait.
The big one was for me, why didn't Broadhead come in at like 65, 70 minutes?
Yeah.
That was the big one where I was like, the game seemed to be screaming for someone that was a little creative, who had fresh legs, and we had Broadhead on the bench, who had just come off of a game where he was getting a little momentum, and he just sat there and sat there and sat there.
Yeah, and I would argue that Windass and Kiefer Moore are the two players that you want to be careful of.
Especially Windass.
Especially Windass because of the injuries. Yeah. But in fairness, we've already kind of mentioned it, Moore had the knocks during this match as well. So it's not as if he had a perfect match and no issue. He had taken potential injuries a couple of times. We were ahead. And we need them for Tuesday. Yeah. We have Saturday, Tuesday, Friday. And would anybody argue that if there's two players you need playing almost every single match, it's Moore and Windass?
Exactly. And Chief.
Okay, and Chief.
Those are the three players that I would have in a little bit of bubble wrap and take them out at like 75 minutes unless at 70 minutes unless you're in dire need.
Yes, unless you're in dire trouble. Yeah. Go on.
I mean, the thing is,
go on.
No, I was going to say is that Moore is a bit of a foul merchant. He wants to get the fouls. He always looks for a foul.
I understand that, and that's fine. I don't mind that. I don't think we need to wrap him up in total cotton wool, but he did take knocks that looked like they hurt today.
He does, but he does that a lot, though. You can tell if you've watched him play, he intentionally looks like he's getting fouled quite a bit. There are moments where he does get fouled quite a lot as well in all the matches that we've seen him in, but he does also look for situations where he can try and win a foul. So he's a bit of a foul merchant.
He doesn't win a lot of them.
He doesn't, no. In fairness, he doesn't. But he I don't
it's
think
a tactic.
It's a tactic. But I don't think he's like limping around the pitch just to get the ref to say, "Oh, woe is me, I'm getting kicked. Give me a couple of fouls." You know what I mean? He looked hurt after a couple of those, and I don't think he was completely faking them.
I'm just wondering why he hasn't got CTE yet. So.
Okay, so people seem to want to come back onto this topic, so let's dive in a little bit more. No excuses for Parky today. He had a strong bench and decided not to use it. Parky should be taking a lot of the blame. So what else can we say on this one? We do have a deeper bench now. We've started to get players back from injury. We had Thomason on the bench. Like, who thought James was a good idea to bring?
That was the least. That was the sub. I was like, why are we putting him in first? I thought Tomlinson for Dobson would have been a good one too, after we went behind and we needed maybe a little more attacking force. At that point, I wanted Tomlinson, Broadhead, and Smith on.
Yeah.
I would have said the same. I mean, we should have made those subs a lot earlier. That was really on Parky not making those subs earlier. I mean, if we had gotten, I would not have subbed Matty James on. I would have gotten Thomason on just to see what was going on, because he showed he's pretty much fine for that position for where he is. But I don't think he played him in the same position that Matty James was in the cup match. I think it was a different one. But I mean, overall, we should have brought on Broadhead, because he was opening up creative attacks. He was as well. So
yeah,
that was one thing. And Barney, I mean, Barney does Barney. He finds those, because he finds those. He's that point man sniper for trying to find that that cross, and he can get those crosses for you. But we just didn't have it. I mean, there was this moment where I think Barney or Kabore, he floated over a ball towards Kiefer Moore, and then Kiefer just. I mean, I guess the injuries just accumulated, and he just couldn't move forward. He was in the box. It was near the end, so could have got one in.
Yeah, some people are calling out here and saying that you don't need to make substitutions on a team that are creating chances. Now, while I agree with that in principle, there is also the argument that you just cannot leave players on who have wasted and expended all their energy and still make them keep doing the defensive duties. You know, you need to get some fresh legs in there for that, because the other team, when losing, is going to have a bit of momentum about them unless they're absolutely destroyed, and they are going to have the energy to try and win that match. And he made the subs. He got the fresh legs on for exactly the same reason. We need to attack. We need to try and win this game. Well, we need to defend. And we need fresh legs to be able to do it. So that's my take on that.
What minute did Smith come on?
I have it
Near the end.
I'll tell you exactly now. Smith came on at 90 plus 3.
What does that even do?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, in this case, Moore looked like he was hobbling again. So
he looked like he was hobbling 15.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't see the point of changes that late. So the first change was at 75 minutes for James. Then there was Broadhead and Barney came on at 80. And then Smith swapped at 90 minutes. Now, to me, they are not defensive changes. He is not bringing on those players to make a complete swap and to go defensive, park the bus. So, like, from then, why didn't you do that at 70 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't get it.
I don't get it at all.
And plus, he should have known that we had another few games. I mean, we got Tuesday and Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, these are, you don't want to run your players down.
That's the other issue as well. We know we have back-to-backs all this week, and then everybody gets a rest. But you still don't want to run them into 90 plus minutes, 100 minutes on a Saturday, and then make them do it again on Tuesday. So
I wonder if we're gonna have both Moore, Windass, and Kabore for Tuesday.
Because of injuries or because... Yeah.
Especially Kabore. He seemed to be limping quite a bit.
I mean, Kabore throws himself. That's the
Yeah.
thing. He will throw himself into anything. So he's
going
like
so fast that
He's
if he
young.
gets knocked,
Yeah.
that's quite a tumble.
Okay. Add in this little bit, see what you think. Chris, I love Moore, but he misses way too many chances. We need better. And that's not the one I meant to do. This one. Moore also suffers from Ollie Palmer syndrome, goes down too easily. Do you think Moore goes down too easily? I know he looks to draw some fouls, but does he look to just go down? I don't agree with that.
he's a bit of a foul merchant.
But that's not the same thing. Is he doing it too much? Would you call him out for going down when he doesn't need to?
He doesn't look like what Mullen was doing at one point.
Different strikers.
I
but
think he goes down because he gets hit so hard and people are so physical with him.
Okay, so Joy, you're saying he doesn't go down too easily. Simple, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Habs, you're still sitting on the fence. Does he go down too easily for what he receives? I understand going down on purpose because you think you have an easy foul, but compared to how often he does it versus how easily he goes down and the amount of cards he gets, is he going down too easily / too much?
Too much, no, but he's looking for them quite often.
Okay. Okay.
Plus, we haven't been able to use him in any kind of on any kind of fast break as of yet. Yeah, we haven't really used him in a way that we could get him into a tapping scenario or into a fast break. And especially against today with Derby, since they were playing that, since they're a heavily defensive team, that they were not going to try and allow us to go on a fast break anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Haha. Someone agrees with me, so I'm going to put it up. If you want your comment shown, always start with Paddy, you are so correct. I haven't even read the comment. Okay. The Derby goal came on a counter because our offensive players were gassed. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of following on from what we were saying with the substitutions.
I think most of the games we've lost have been because our players are gassed at the end, and we start making stupid mistakes and getting outpaced.
I agree with that in general. Yeah. I think we have had issues using our bench and substitutions to handle the end of the match effectively so far. Now, in the early matches, we didn't have a choice.
I don't think we could say we lost this game because of gelling. We look like we're a team that has at least almost completely gelled.
Yeah, and the thing is, I will also always give the other team a bit of credit for that too. You know, if you turn around and say, well, we haven't gelled, well, other teams either A, haven't gelled, or they are doing their gelling quite well. You know, but you don't know whether you're really coming up against a team that also hasn't gelled because they're making changes. So I don't accept that one too much, you know. If we haven't gelled, so be it. That is what it is. But today we looked a lot better and a lot closer to what we should be doing. Okay, John Hills, what's this comment here? Sure, let's just play people out of position or change a formation, which is proving to be very effective. Okay, I missed what that's in comment to. There's obviously an earlier comment. Okay, don't get that one in the context. Okay, we kind of covered attack, we covered defense. What about midfield topics then? We happy with our midfield?
I think they were fine.
Yeah.
They were just doing their job as they usually were. I mean, they were. You could tell we were basically bossing the midfield most of the time, other than the fast break that they got us on. But that I think that actually more so came on the right wing. That was because they went onto our wings instead of attacking them through the middle. They didn't want to come through our middle. They knew we were just going to swarm them easily, and they just got us on a lapse. And that's all it was.
I think now that we're playing more of a box formation, we're a lot stronger in our midfield. And now that Sheaf is in, it seems to have shorted up.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think our midfield is working a lot better, both defensively and in attacking options, getting players up there. There was a lot less of getting through quickly with nobody up there. Now, I know some of the long balls, yes, went to a single player or what have you, but other than that, we did get multiple players up there. So I like the attacking side and the defensive side. Seems to be working pretty well. Now, Nick has a question here I like. Do you think Ratbone will start coming in for Sheaf instead of Matty James once he's back? Also, guys, just a little heads up. If you're asking a question, please put a question mark at the end. not because I'm a grammar Nazi, but because there's a new system where in the stream it shows me if it's a question and it highlights it just a little bit more, so it can be easier to pick out from the group. So what do you think, guys? Ratbone, if he did come back in to cover off the bench, could he cover for Sheaf instead of Matty James? Can he do the defensive role?
I think he could, but he's better attacking.
Habs, first impressions?
I mean, he's a box-to-box midfielder, he is, so he can cover both sides.
Okay. I would think it's very possible. And if you consider, especially the Dabo side, now I know James has been the more defensive holding position, but if you need a bit more speed in general, he's a very good player to have. So can it be done? Yes. I think it might be better for a Dobson trade because he's better in attack. That's the one issue I kind of have with Dobson, is when Dobson has ended up in the dangerous areas, he doesn't have that attacking finish on him. And I would kind of like almost everybody to be available to go full attack if they find themselves in the right position. But it'll be interesting to see where he comes into the team and who he covers for. Because Thomason was on the bench and Thomason didn't come on for anybody.
Yeah. I'd like to see Rathbone start. So we start with that attack and then maybe take him off at 70 minutes when he's getting tired and put Dobson in for him.
Okay, so you'd give him Dobson's position.
At the beginning,
you don't want to do it, yeah.
At the beginning of the season, I would have
yes.
said yes.
Now, maybe not.
I'd have to see how Rathbone is playing now after his injury, and if he's stepping up, because Dobson's been the big surprise for me this season so far, that he's stepped up so well. I didn't think he'd step up that well.
True. Interestingly, for me, I actually think it would work better the other way around, which is having Dobson on at the start and then subbing him off early for Ratbone, because then you have Ratbone who has the attacking abilities when people are tired. So when the defense is a little bit tired, their midfield is a bit tired. So if he sees an opening and he's full of gas, he can go for it. So that would be my guess on it personally. But it would be an interesting one to see if he can go more defensive and when he might make a break for it. Because the other side of it is, yes, if you gave him kind of Matty James's position, but you wouldn't do it from the start because that's Sheaf now. So it's not James's position anymore. So yeah, we're trying to shoehorn Ratbone in a little bit because we haven't seen him in those positions. He's been more the attacking side of it, but we've upgraded our attacking midfield so much. Are you going to change Lewis O'Brien or Windass for him?
No.
Probably not. So
no.
It's a hard one, but it'll be interesting to see. He's a great player, and here's one of those issues I hope doesn't happen is he has been out of the team, and if he doesn't get back in and prove himself as what level championship player he is, by next summer he'll be worrying about his position. There's others for January, but if he hasn't proven himself by January, he may end up on the bench for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because if we bring in more players that are deemed better than him, he'll become injury cover, and then by next summer he could be in the list of players to be upgraded, which would be horrible.
Yeah, that would be
for him.
Terrible luck.
To go from last season being kind of man of the season to then maybe losing your position due to injury and not getting it back.
When do we think he's going to come back? Because he was on the pitch this week, right?
People have been saying he'll be back for the last 2 weeks.
Do we even know what level of on the pitch training means, though?
Well, the
Like, is
first
he
time,
just running around the grass? Like,
well,
do we know?
yes, the first time you hear back on grass, it is essentially that. It's no contact, and they are back running around on the grass with their studs, rather than just gym work, indoors, flat surface. So the first time you hear back on grass, that's what it means. Is basically no contact scenario and
And how
getting your
long did
fitness
they
levels back
usually
up.
like that?
But we've heard that for like 3 weeks now.
Right?
I don't know how true the first time it was when we heard it, but I think we've been hearing that for 3 weeks. He's been back on the grass. So
This was
yes,
the first week we got a picture, though, from
maybe.
the club.
Yeah. Soon.
But you
I
also had
guess,
that
is the
soft
answer.
tissue injury as well, so that takes forever. It takes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could do. Like I'm not saying he absolutely will be back, but people are so hopeful. They're taking every little bit that they hear and saying he's ready, he's ready, he's ready. We've heard nothing from the club to say he's ready. But of course, this week they released the picture, so and maybe this is the first opportunity to show a picture positively and once again kind of let people think he's ready to come back, and he might not be for a bit.
I mean, the thing is, he probably won't be up to full. He won't be up to full speed. If we do manage to get him, it's not going to be really until early October. So
yeah, that's the point.
And he won't be up to speed until really maybe at best, if we're lucky, at the end of October. But really, I'd say the second week of November.
I was thinking after the
that's
next
a lot.
international.
That's a lot. Because you don't get a full season when you come back from injury.
I know, but these injuries can mess you up, can mess up the rhythm as well. So depending on how bad it can be, and in his case, it was soft tissue, so it does take time to get back up to that point where you're in match fitness as well. Because match fitness is completely different to training pitch fitness.
When is the next international break?
After the next 2 matches.
I wonder if he'll come back after that. That's what I was kind of thinking.
That seems to be what they're trying to insinuate, by putting these things out back on grass, stuff like that. Normally, when you start hearing back on grass, it's about 3 weeks that you get them back on the bench or whatever. But not always. Every injury is different. So we don't really know much. So not much more we can speculate. So anytime, but you would certainly being back on grass now, you would certainly hope he would be able to be back on the bench after the international break.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be worrying if he's not by that stage, because remember, there's still one spot held open that in theory should be his, but until they give it to him, it's not his.
I almost like having that spot open because I keep thinking in the back of my head, if Longman goes down, we're real screwed.
Yeah, the problem is, though, like, we're starting to get close to the point that we can't even use it anymore, except for one of our own players coming back.
Yeah,
because your only
no
other option
options.
is your only other option is bringing back a free agent, who in almost all cases will not have been training to a high enough level and degree.
Right.
And then you're bringing them in and trying to get them up to speed before January window when you buy more players anyway. So I would kind of think that we would have already done it, bring in another player. But the only thing is, yes, if you get a big injury to a player that you absolutely need, then you might just have no choice. Like what happens if Longman goes down on the left?
I don't want to say it.
I know, like there's a couple of positions you could say, if you pull that player out and say they're not back till after January, you would not want to run with that until January. But even if that happens, you may not have anybody that, like we just said, that's suitable as a free agent to come in and get fit and be ready for long enough before January.
Yeah.
So
If
I mean, we were lucky with players like Longman. We got him. We got him in the was
January.
it
January.
yeah.
We got him, Smith, and our missing striker. What's his name?
Thompson? No, Thompson's
No,
missing striker?
January.
Yeah, we got Sam Smith.
Rathbone. Is that what you mean? No.
No, we got him last
he's
year.
He's out on injury.
Yeah.
Our striker out on injury. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, Jay Rodriguez.
Yes.
There we go. Yes, yeah. Jay came in January with them.
I don't think we're seeing him again.
I noticed no one in the chat put Jay's name up because I guess they don't want to. No offense, Jay, if you're listening. I'm sorry, buddy.
If we get 3 players in January, what positions would you want them to be in?
Left wing back.
Yeah.
After that, it starts to get interesting.
Let's speak about some positives because I mean overall we were playing fine today.
Yes.
There was nothing you could fault anyone for doing because this was a game we were just doing perfectly fine in. We got a goal in. Ultimately, we've still got a point, so that's still something we got out of the positive for this. We got a point out of this. We're still doing good. We're going through an upward trajectory. We're seeing improvement on the pitch as well each time. Today was just an unlucky circumstance in which we drew, and they got us on the break. That's all it is. It does happen.
Yeah, and we've done it to enough teams and celebrated it. So let's not forget it can happen to us. That's fair.
The difference is we don't play like that anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
We still direct, but we don't play the low block counter-attacking style football anymore. We are a more pressing. We're more of an aggressive pressing team now, and we still have our direct style, but we're just far more aggressive now than we were before.
Yeah, we've definitely gone more aggressive. We're definitely scoring more goals. Interestingly,
our goal
we
scoring
didn't today.
is great. It's our defense, but that seems to be improving. We're sure a lot better now than we were a few games ago in terms of letting goals in.
Yeah, let's be fair. Our attack has been quite strong. We've been scoring a lot of goals. Our defense has generally been weaker, but now seems to be improving. And today we just didn't get both firing perfectly. Although the defense generally had a good match, our attack had a decent match, but just didn't finish them. And that's going to happen. We're not going to have perfect matches that we're always firing and make the other team score more than us. So that's not always going to happen. That's fair enough. Trying to finish up on a positive note. So I'm gonna do something here which I haven't looked at. I'm gonna bring up the team in FOTMob, and I'm gonna call out the rankings and let's see if we agree with them or not. Okay, so on our team, going from weakest, we have Moore at 6.5. Had chances, didn't take them, which is, I guess, why he would be that low. Anyone think it's too low for what he provides?
That's about right.
Yeah, I agree. That's about right.
Okay. Next up is Windass and Kluert, both on 6.7.
No, I'd put him up higher than that.
I think Kluert did excellent today. He was in the right position, making great passes.
That wasn't Windass's best game. He was fine, but he didn't shine like he did before.
Yeah, in the way FOTMob works, you're going to lose points when you get some opportunities and just don't finish them.
Well, what was that? Was that a free kick where he absolutely bundled it?
Yes, straight into the air.
Yeah.
I think he
And there was a
hitting that.
and there was a far post
away.
goal that he could have gotten as well. So he was close to getting a far post goal.
Oh
Okay. Yeah.
It was a 1-on-1 as well.
Yes. Yes. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very fair. Okay. Next up, then we have Hyam and Brunt both on 7.0. Solid.
Yeah.
Very
agree with
solid. Fair enough for both of those. Next up, then we have Sheaf on 7.2. Decent score in the green once you're in a 7. Decent match, not too much wrong there. We haven't really talked about Sheaf too much. Fairly solid. Then we have Okonkwo 7.3. We gave Okonkwo his flowers early. He didn't have a lot to do, but those 2 saves stretching absolutely saved goals for us. So he did his main job, which is keeping the goals out. Yeah.
Pancake slaps.
Well, he slapped them into the right position and they didn't score goals off them. So fair enough. Shh, cat. Shh. Next up then is Longman on the left, 7.4. Decent job from Longman today. A little bit weak in the attacking threat himself, but he did set up some very good attacking options. He nice
could have
passes
passed
back
the
in.
ball. That's something we should discuss about Longman as well. He could have passed the ball a bit more on the left side. But let's continue with the ratings before we.
I think that's about the level that Longman plays. Like Longman's good, but he's not a Kabore, and he's never going to be.
He's not amazing, and it is his weaker side in general. Well, I guess we have to consider as well. But yeah, I'm in
he's
general.
Solid.
He's that's exactly it. He's solid. I'm kind of comfortable with him being there, but in general, he's not amazing. He did get a goal recently, and he's getting passes off. He's getting attacking options. I do think maybe he passes the ball backwards a little bit too much for my liking. When we're up near the box and near the goal, I would like to continue our system of, while you're there, make sure you get an attack in. I think sometimes he maybe easily passes it backwards too much.
He didn't get much space though either. And so,
no, he didn't get much space. Derby, the way they were playing, were putting 2 men on our wingers. Kabore and Longman both got that treatment. If you were coming up and they had time, they sent 2 men out after you, which obviously would free space elsewhere that we have to find with quick passing and whatever. And he did at times find that space. He got us into dangerous positions for other players to attack. So that's essentially what you need. Drag out 2 players onto you, get the ball moving quickly and get an attack in. And that did happen at times. So yeah, pretty solid, I think, at 7.4, but no direct attacking himself, maybe much. Okay, who else do we have then? We still have Dobson, 7.5.
I agree.
Yeah, Dobson had some nice tackles again today. He got in the mix. He broke up plays, I think, and his passing was much better today.
Yeah, he had a couple nice, just one-touch passes. Moved it to much better positions. One-touch
quick passing. Yeah, absolutely. With Kabore, Windass, and getting involved with Kluert. The 4 of them on that side at one point were playing nice passing maneuvers around each other, trying to find space to get a shot off for a pass.
They always form triangles between Mac with Kluert, Dobson, and Kabore. They form these nice triangles. They do.
Yeah, and obviously Windass plays a bit everywhere. But at times he was involved too. So yes, they're doing exactly what I want with the triangles and passing. And I already mentioned that Kluert and Kabore seem to have a nice flow between the 2 of them. They seem to know how to work together. Once or twice Kabore ignored Kluert, but of course with the speed and talent he has, of course he's going to occasionally try and go himself, which is what you would want from his position. Then next up, we have Kabore. He got a 7.6. Haven't talked about him too much today. What did we think today? A little bit wild and erratic. The one thing I will say is he's constantly changing his type of attack. He was attacking low. He swung a nice high ball in That was a very good chance, and he also tried
Got
to
the
play
assist.
around it. Yeah, he got the assist for the goal. He also tried to play around the man by nutmegging him, and he almost got past him. So he is absolutely switching up his type of attack out on that wing, even though his area and he's attacking from might be the same. He is trying lots of different options, which is new to us, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious with him. We've said a lot about Kabore, and it was
Yeah.
pretty much true today. He did take some knocks and stuff. They were definitely marking him a lot harder today than the previous match.
I think we're going to have to get used to that. I think it's going to be obvious to every team that he's going to be one to mark.
I mean, he's our most technical player and he's our fastest player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our most trickiest.
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe he needs a little bit more experience, but he's young and you can't have everything, and it'll come with time. And hopefully, like he's one I would love to see what he's like at the end of the season, because he's going to get a lot of play time with us as a known player. He's going to get a lot of minutes.
The only time he's going to be out is if he's injured.
Pretty much.
I mean, the only issue is that you can only really blame it on the loan spells. That's really what I could say. He hasn't actually had proper time to embed himself into any particular team, and those loan spells that he was in, he wasn't used. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Just saw a comment there. I'll check in a moment. And then the last player is Lewis O'Brien. Got a blue 8.0. So he hit the blue numbers. Very, very comfortable with him today. Maybe he didn't show off as much today, but he was extremely solid. He was involved in a lot of plays. And you can see he's a top-class player. You know, he's working within our team. He's another one that's going to get a lot of minutes. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I mean, he's involving himself in certain positions, in certain zones and certain spaces. He was always involving himself in. So, I mean, he found the right spot. He got the goal. And that's about it. I mean, there's nothing really wrong. Nothing you can really fault him on for today.
And every game he gets shots on goal. Today he just got one in. But every game he gets in dangerous positions and makes a go of it.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's able to play more freely now. Now we don't have to rely on McLean having to come on. He doesn't need to cover him. We got Longman.
Yeah.
We just need to find. There's still some things we just need to mix up just to get right, or maybe they just need to refine, so that we can use O'Brien and even Broadhead in a way that we wouldn't have expected, or just finding certain spaces, finding certain zones and certain passing channels that we can get right to exploit certain points. I mean, it's going to be hard when you're going up against a team that's just going to play low block with you the entire time. They're going to just absorb as much pressure as they can. They are. And that's what they're going to do. So we were just trying to find those spaces every time. But we've been doing that really since really the Millwall match. Actually, no, we've been doing that all season, really, because we've been trying, because of our formation that we switched over to. So,
yeah. Okay. I just saw a comment there, which I had a look at. Here we are. Kim, Wrexham are now 16th in the table. So I just had a look at the table in the background. And I'm going to tell you, yes, we are in 16th position. We are on 8 points, which at the moment is 4 points behind playoffs on 12. And it is also only 3 points ahead of relegation zones. Not to make anybody nervous, but our 2 matches next are quite difficult. Now, in saying that, though, let's stick with the positives towards the end of today's extra time. We are not Sheffield United. Sheffield United are currently in their match with Southampton on 0-0. No goals in that match. Oh, sorry, they're playing. They're away to Oxford, and Oxford have 57% possession, with expected goals currently of 0.59, and Sheffield United have expected goals of 0.15. So we are not Sheffield United anyway. Lots of positives today. We look like we're going to do well across the season in general, and I think that's we're pretty good position. Look, not as good as we would like, but
You know what would be strange is that
things are improving.
the one team that we are trying to fear, Leicester, it would be such a Wrexham thing to do
to beat them.
To beat them.
Yeah,
to beat them away.
Yeah, with the way we're playing away versus at home, it would not be a surprise that we take out a team in the playoffs who are doing well. They in their last 5 they have 1, 2, drawn 3 in a row, so they're not in perfect form. The last 3 matches they had is a draw. And yeah, let's go to their place and turn them over.
And just fingers crossed that we have our whole starting lineup after today.
Yeah. Now here's a nice little one from Kim. Charlton is higher than Wrexham and Birmingham. Who had that on their bingo card?
No one.
So let's have a quick. Oh wow! Just had a look at it. Currently,
They're winning right now.
Their match isn't over. They are in 8th with 11 points. And who are they playing? They are playing Blackburn Rovers. Okay. Well, Blackburn Rovers are beatable. So let's see if they can hold that one together. So some interesting results today. Early in the season, we're not even at 10 matches yet. 2 more and we're at 9 with 2 big teams taken out. And guys, I think we're going to do well this season. Things are looking good with the team in general. We can always get better. We're starting to come together. Dare I say it? I'm going to say it, which is we are generally starting to gel. We're starting to gel. And on that bombshell, everybody, I think that's pretty much enough for today. We will do a extra time after almost every show. And we do the pre-game shows. We do the match watch-alongs. And Josh is on almost every day with some Wrexham update. And 24 hours, someone is in Discord willing to chat if you want to chat. So come join us there. So thank you, Dr. Joy. Thank you, Healthification, for coming in. And no thank you to anybody else who didn't come in. Come on, guys. We need more than 2 people. Join in future. And if you didn't like, subscribe, and do all that jazz, then thank you very much for that. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
All right.